Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace, and I am on my way to see if I can actually get any work done. I do want to say a few things up front. First of all, I have mentioned in a video, I don't know if I put it on this channel or which channel I'm going to put these on, but I've mentioned that I do these food delivery services for healthcare purposes only, and it's basically the short version of that would be I have to prove to the government that I earn a certain amount. I live in Texas. Did I mention I live in Texas? I'll keep saying that. And it doesn't represent how I see things, but hey, I'm a 60-year-old woman who was a homemaker for years now. And I also had mentioned that I was going to try for disability because I have been basically had disability since I was a child, and I've never gotten disability or Medicaid or anything like that. And the next thing I know, I got one of those things in the mail. You know, they send out here in the United States every few months before every birthday. I haven't seen mine in years though. But anyway, on it says that how much I would get if this, if I retired at that time or that time, whatever, and also a disability. And it said I would not receive any disability if I applied for it because I haven't worked in so many years or something. I didn't go deep. I just said figures. I didn't even. It's a good thing I didn't go through all that to try to apply. There is something else, but yeah. My experience is, did I mention I live in Texas, is that there's not much out there for help for a person, really, and without so much, at least for me, I don't know what it is, why it is, but no. And there was another one that reached out to me, and I had mentioned I had called them, reached out to them, I don't know, a month or so ago, and said I do not want the same person to try to attempt to help me. I had been trying to get help since the 1980s or 1990s through them. Seriously. I just want to see what it is now. No, I said I don't want that last person that I tried last year. I'm not in this for somebody else. I'm in it for what I need because of my health, and my health isn't that great. So now to skip ahead, yesterday, I am so much losing. I am just so losing faith in what I'm running across as far as healthcare. Last year I didn't have the healthcare, and for years before that, went to the hospital 3 times with some serious health condition. What I'm hearing since then, that others that say, well, it could have been. Do you think it could have been? They're not going to diagnose. I've yet to find anybody who actually really diagnoses. They'll tell you something that you can see as fact, like on a CT. They won't explain it. They won't. What I have experienced, I'm talking about the ones. I'm not talking about all. I'm talking about the ones that I experienced. They're just not going. They just haven't. I'm not saying as though they in the future, but in the past, they just hadn't ever diagnosed. They just wanted to renew prescriptions, I guess. Somebody else's had made. Seriously. Anyway, so anything that I'm saying like it's future, I mean past. But anyway, I went yesterday to the ER for a recurring problem, and I don't want to go into details. But I mean, all that I'm doing now to have the insurance, have health insurance, and I was told it's the best in Texas that through the marketplace. So far, I'm like last year. I canceled it after 2 months, a little over 2 months, because it just seemed like people were, money grubbers. The healthcare providers, supposed providers. They were just looking. Like one of them told me, I told her I want to concentrate on this health problem, and she said you'll just have to wait on that. This is what that she wanted to work on. I never went back to that one, and I was just so disgusted. And that wasn't all. The nurse practitioner that racked up over around close to $900 worth of her visit and blood test. Didn't tell me anything like that. And then the one I seen recently, I never went back to that one, but the one I seen recently, and she said those are old. Yeah, I get it. She's gonna rack up herself too. So yeah, and I'm just disgusted with that. But I went yesterday, all this trouble, and the supposed doctor, they don't introduce themselves. They don't. I just have not yet seen anybody in any hospital, anytime, in I don't know how many years, who introduces themselves and what is their position, whether they're the doctor, the nurse practitioner, the PA, the what. They don't introduce themselves. And they go like this yesterday. I said, look, I just sat down here, and three of them, you're all just going so fast. They were all three talking at the same time. This one was trying to do this, and this one, and then that one was telling the doctor that it turned out he was a DO with a 1.0 rating. 1.0, 1 being the worst out of 5 being the best. He had a 1.0. It actually said 1.0. You know, of course I don't know who I'm going to see before I go to the hospital. So it was once I got home, I looked it up, because he was not good at all. And I was so disappointed. I'm just going to say that all of it was so disappointing. You know, my whole experience with this health insurance has been so disappointing. You know, it's about close to say 950. Just let's round it up a bit. Close to $1,000 a month. You know, really? And for what? Did I mention I live in Texas? Okay, and the whole experience yesterday was 3 people talking. 3 different, I have no idea what was their position, I could only guess. And talking really fast. I'm saying, hey, slow down, wait a minute, I can, you know. And then one of them telling the other, like I said, one of them told the doctor, she can't get my blood pressure because I'm talking to him, because he's asking me questions. Well, hello, but I'm not really talking, because you see, they keep on interrupting me. I mean, I sit down and first question, I start to answer one word. I think this one actually interrupted me not mid-sentence like as usual. Don't even know me, so they don't know how I speak or anything, but mid the first word. Interrupt me. What the? Seriously, what the? And I've seen this worsen. The first time I saw anything like this was about 20 years ago. Actually, I think it was exactly 20 years ago in a doctor's office. And it was a mother and daughter team. The daughter was my age. And, but hers was more like she would interrupt acting as though she already knew what I was going to say. And then she'd run with it by what she thought I was going to say. Okay, they just interrupt. You know, I've had that trouble. I've talked about so many years now with different doctors, nurse practitioners, PAs, you know, not getting any information because they won't shut up. And that's how I'm saying I was taught never to say shut up, but they need to shut up. They need to shut their mouths and listen. Seriously, this whole thing of assuming they know everything and then messing up, it's going to cost them one day. It's probably cost. I really want to know how many. It would be great if somebody did research on this and find out how many patients were severely harmed, if not, just worse than harmed, because the healthcare provider wouldn't shut up and listen to the patient. Seriously, it's unbelievable. And what's unbelievable is their egos. Now, I'm not new to this world, you know, I'm really not. I've seen it worsen. That means that it's been around, but I've seen it worsen, especially the past few years. You know, I have a rare health condition, so I've seen plenty of doctors, you know, healthcare providers, whatever level, over in my lifetime, plenty of them. And my personal experience, and this is only my personal experience, has been that it's worsened. It's always been there, but it's worsened. I'm trying to make that a point. Now, here's the thing, and I know this. I'm not new to this world. plus, like I've mentioned in videos before, my degrees are in psychology and sociology. Apparently, by the way, which I knew, I'm not new to this world, people, that especially healthcare providers, not especially, just anybody thinks they know better. Honestly, I would be ashamed. I would be ashamed to call myself to work in healthcare, physical healthcare. I would, because what are people seeing, or what would people be seeing around me? But that's how I would be. I don't think that these people feel shame. The people I'm thinking of, the people that I have experienced personally, I'm not talking about the ones I haven't experienced. I'm talking about the ones I have. In all of these, all of this video and all of mine. When I'm talking like this, it's about the ones I have seen. Everybody else might have a different experience. They would have a different experience. Nobody's going to see the same providers as I do every time. All these years, 60 years. I've lived in so many places, so I'm talking about me. What I've seen. I would be ashamed. I would be ashamed to work alongside them. I actually did when I was a career student for over 20 years. Yeah, both undergraduate and graduate at university, yeah. And I taught at college and university. I would have, I worked things like, fill in for office managers, stuff like that, surgery scheduling. But I really, even then, I got disgusted. I really did. The staff was so bad. I cannot recall a place that it was good, and I wasn't the only person, just by the way. I'm not the only person that has seen this kind of stuff. I wasn't the only person that experienced these kinds of things that I knew, that I worked with alongside of. People who didn't work alongside me, but I heard their story. It was people with a conscience were just so disgusted with these despicable people. But I'll speak for myself. I was disgusted with these despicable people. Not everybody, of course. In what I just said, I'm showing it's not everybody. But people who were like that, people who, it was all about them. It was all about being the mean girl, mean boy. This kind of thing. I don't know why they are all taking so much time. Really. So I went. But these people that, the healthcare, like people had said, decent people. I could tell they were decent. They were people who cared about, what they were doing, why they were working. They said, you went to the hospital without insurance, health insurance? Well, they will let you die. After those 3 experiences last year. Yeah, so anyway, to get back to this, that wraps me back to this. So I get the health insurance. I'm doing all of this to get the health insurance, to get health and keep health insurance. And I will find out very soon if I have to pay back the whole bit from last year. And for what? For what is the truth? For what? To be abused, even the same? And I see it as abuse, and I don't want to ever hear anybody say it's just poor bedside manner. No, that's verbal abuse. Period. It's some form of abuse. Period. Period. So, I'm telling you, I'm doing all this so I can be mistreated more, and then they can actually use it. They're going to use it so they can make money off of it. It's just, and it could just be like the area I am, and only the ones I run across somehow, some way. I find the bad ones, Unbelievable, my friends. Unbelievable what I have seen in my life. And I have had to be the one to figure out what is really wrong with me. I am not kidding. Seriously, because they're not going to diagnose, except to misdiagnose. Yes, I've actually heard that, not because they were trying to diagnose, but because of my health condition. There's one thing that they really cannot say, and they should not say, but they will say it out of their ignorance anyway. And yes, that happens a lot in my experience. A lot. Any provider I go to, even one was even over the phone, because of their ignorance, it told me to do something over the phone, which would be totally wrong to say. And some of it is because of their ignorance. And I'm talking ignorance in more than one way. Ignorance such as they apparently think they know more than the NIH and the WHO. And then they can say that that doesn't exist. Well, the NIH says it does, and WHO says it does. But they apparently know better. You see, it's unbelievable. Okay, and just for the record, what I have, I have proof. I have proof. It's called CT scans. It's right there. They're right there. It's right there. They can't deny it's right there. One of them was so shamefaced. She's a young woman, so shamefaced. I think she was a resident or something. And she was like, right. And then she saw the images. She ordered. I didn't give her permission to. But she ordered them. I hope they took that out of her paycheck. Seriously. No, I gotta watch myself. Vengeance is not mine. But it feels good to say it. Because no. You know, I hope that the ones that treated me in the ER last year, I have said this, I hope they all lose their license to practice. I really do. Really. What they were doing, from everything I have ever known, it was illegal. Seriously. Illegal. You cannot treat people different than any other person. You can't. From what I understand, unless of course the laws have all changed for just them. But you know, we do all know that about you can't fight City Hall. You know, we probably heard this all of our lives. You can't fight City Hall, and then I would add to it big businesses or anything state. Did I mention I live in Texas? Yeah. Okay, maybe strike that, but you get the gist. You know, I've lived in several states, and I am not impressed. I am really not impressed by any state agency. I've never been impressed. And you know, I don't really set the bar that high. I really don't. You know, if I can get some information, then I can help myself. Because like I said, I've been disabled. You know, I have this disability since I was a kid. Never received any disability or anything, any kind of assistance. And so if I can find some information where I could help myself, I have in the past. I'm 60 years old. I have. So I don't really set a bar like, oh, they're going to help me and they're going to do all this for me. No, because I already know. And I'm not that type. But, I mean, I'm not saying anybody who is wrong. Okay, you're lucky. If you have serious health conditions and you actually get disability and all that help, good for you. Great, wonderful. Thumbs up. You know, it's not for me to judge on that. That's your health and your thing. But me, with chronic health conditions and so forth, and it's been considered with one state agency as disabled since I was really young, and but still can't get disability or any help. And like I said, if I can get information that I can help myself, I have. You know, but unfortunately, if I try through with them, it's a waste of time, and blood pressure goes higher and higher and higher from dealing with them. Like I'm waiting on one sent me a text not stating their name, and I had requested somebody new. I don't want to deal with that person. I don't want to, and you can bet it's that person, not stating their name. So I asked. Let's see. But anyway, I'm going to